Hello, my name is Tom Velez. I'm here to talk to you about a new patented product called the Hammer Strut Support. It goes into the Ruger Mark series of pistols. They all have a common problem in trying to reassemble the hammer mainspring assembly back into the pistol. This new Hammer Strut Support gets installed into the aft end of the pistol. That makes it very easy to reinstall, and it absolutely will not let you reinstall this mainspring assembly improperly. This Hammer Strut Support will make it work perfectly every single time. And now I'd like to show you how to put it in the gun. It takes less than 2 minutes. Now the first step in working with any gun is to make sure that it is truly unloaded. So we want to do that with this Ruger, and so we're going to pull the bolt back and hold it up with our thumb. That holds the bolt back. Rotate it over, check the chamber, check the magazine, that they're both empty. Push the magazine, release, pull the magazine out, it's empty. We push it back in. Push the thumb release down to release the bolt. Roll it over, pull the bolt back just a little bit, and pull the trigger to release the firing pin without striking the chamber. And now we know that the pistol is truly unloaded. Now the first step in installing the new Hammer Strut Support is to remove the mainspring housing assembly. You'll notice there's a latch, and at the top end of the latch underneath it there's a recess area. Stick your thumb in there with your fingernail and pull it out. Pull that latch out, lift up, and then you're going to pull this out, your mainspring housing assembly, to set it down. The next thing we have to do is to remove the 2 grip panels. You'll notice there's 2 hex screws on each side. There's nothing special about this. Just simply remove them and set them aside, and then we'll go on to the next step. As you can see, we removed the grip panels from both sides of the pistol. We've installed the pistol in a small vise. If you don't have a small vise, just have a friend hold it for you. What we're trying to achieve is that this would be fairly level back here, and the barrel's pointing away from you. We're going to install the Hammer Strut Support in this orientation inside of this open channelway. This is the proper orientation for installing the Hammer Strut Support. You'll notice the groove is upward facing you. There's a tang on the lower left, and the narrower portion is upward. Now we're going to install the Hammer Strut Support into the pistol. You'll notice that the Hammer Strut Support is a little bit wider than the opening in the pistol, so we'll have to tilt it a little bit to get it in and drop it down and place it in there. Then we're going to slide it upwards as much as possible till it actually comes up against that lower cross pin. Now we're going to slide the lower cross pin to the left far enough to be able to push that Hammer Strut Support upward. You find that cross pin right here. Okay, and we're going to slowly push that to the left, but not releasing that spring. Doesn't take much pressure, but just make sure you do not go too far. Only push it far enough, and you can use your hand on the other side to pull it back just a little. This is a better picture of that lower cross pin being retracted, but still holding that spring on the left side and not letting it come loose. Now we've got the lower cross pin pulled out to the proper position without releasing that spring. We've got the Hammer Strut Support in here, and we can just push that forward, and you'll get to a point where the lower end of the Hammer Strut itself is hanging down in the way. So we want to grab that, pull it up, continue to slide the Hammer Strut Support forward. Then when we can release that loose end of the hammer strut. Now we just want to slide this lower cross pin back into position through the hammer strut support itself back to its original position so it's flush on both sides. Now that hammer strut support is installed properly. All we have to do is to put the grip panels back on and reinstall the mainspring assembly, and we're done. This shows the hammer strut support installed in its final configuration in the pistol. You'll notice that it's underneath this cross pin right here, and the upper edge of this hammer strut support supports this loose end of the hammer strut and keeps it from ever going underneath and getting caught underneath this lower cross pin right here. When it gets caught underneath that lower cross pin, that's when the gun is hard to reassemble or can be reassembled improperly. With this hammer strut support installed, that forever precludes this from happening. To reinstall the hammer mainspring assembly, simply point the barrel of the gun downward and put the bolt plunger through the bolt, and then force it up till it snaps in. Now tilt the gun upward, the barrel upward. That lets the hammer struts hang freely. Then close this latch. When you do that, you should see that this is springy. Springs in and out. That lets you know that it's installed properly. So push it down, close the latch, and it installed properly. To check it, you're going to pull the bolt back, release it, pull the bolt back a little bit, pull the trigger, and you've got it. One more check to pull the bolt back, hold it up with your thumb, put the safety on, release the bolt, pull the trigger, it shouldn't fire, take the safety off, pull the bolt back just a little bit, pull the trigger, and it should fire. Now you have reassembled it properly.